The first 3 days of practice for the bowl has been more of a spring ball type practice, more focusing on yourselves, instilling stuff from the playbook. Now really focusing on TCU. What are some of the things that really stick out as challenges at TCU?
Oh, well, it's all about having a dual quarterback and having a real guy who can scare you with the running game and keep the ball and have all those obstacles that you have to overcome, and then having a passing game like Washington State on top of it. So, their head coach is a friend of mine and someone that I really respect. And I think he figured it out. The worst things that you can do on offense, because he's a defensive coach, he implemented into his offense. So thanks, Gary. Way to go. Yeah, that's good stuff.
How did you guys become friends?
Well, because we studied who are the best defensive coaches in the country, and when he was an assistant, that's where it started, and then from there he got the head job, and so we decided to go out there and see them, and they allowed us for a couple of years to come in, and they were beyond gracious. We still run some of their stuff, so don't tell them that. No, it's on camera.
What are some of those?
I can't tell you.
I was going to ask.
We changed them all. We don't do anything they do.
No, I was going to ask, what are some of those terrible offensive things that Gary Patterson?
Well, it's just the fact that, it's just a statement, a way to say it, but it's like playing 12 guys. The 12th guy is the quarterback, and he adds that dimension so that when you think you got everything stopped, and then you have to look in the backfield to go, well, what if he runs the ball? And that's the problem with modern football. Whoever discovered that, that's another guy we really want to thank as defensive coaches, because it's made things really, really hard for us. And I've seen it over the last couple of weeks when I've got fortunate to see some of the FCS games, and there's so many quarterback offenses just murdering people, and so that's what I think it all begins and ends with that element, because you can't get away from it. And once you think you got this stopped, then you got to worry about this, and if that and that's the challenge we have right now. It's a good one.
Don Pellin was saying that Trevon Boykin is pretty much the first quarterback that you guys have seen all season that can really run the ball, and you've reiterated that. Mm-hmm. Where does he rank compared to some of the other Pac-12 quarterbacks you guys have faced?
Well, I think the guy, if all things would have gone right for him, that he may have won the Heisman. His stats prove it, his team proves it, but he got hurt, and so did his best, one of the best wide receivers. People forget about that guy, but this guy is a really special player. And then they have 3 or 4 others that are really good, and they have 2 good running backs, and their line is enormous. And so for him, he's easily a guy that could have won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he's like Marcus, and maybe even a little bit more like Michael Vick, because he has the quickness, not just the speed, to really give you a lot of problems.
You touched on it, but Mark talked a little bit about how this team just isn't Doxson and Boykin, and how the depth of this team is pretty good. How does that stack
Well, they
up?
got a receiver that runs a 10.0 400 meters. I mean, our track coach knows how fast that is. That's points for the championship for the Pac-12. You get a guy that's doing that. And then they've got 3 or 4 others. They got a freshman I love, number 25, a little bit like DeAnthony Thomas. And then they got 2 really good running backs. So, they got what they want. That's why they've been a top 10 team for a long time, because their system keeps getting fit back together with those kind of athletes.
How do you see the secondary matching up with those receivers specifically, Doctor?
Well, I want to say great. That's why we play, and I'm hoping that this game, and this is what I'm challenging my guys. I said we need to be good January 2nd, 2016, and not really good January 2nd, 2017. It's time for us to, I think we're talented enough to play really well, and this team is going to make us play. Anything short of that, and someone else may be coaching January 2nd, 2017.
What was the first bowl game you ever coached in?
Liberty Bowl, when I was at Ole Miss.
What do you remember about it?
It was the coldest day of my life. Both teams, it was in Memphis. Literally, we played Air Force, and both teams, after the game, out of due respect for each other, waved and ran in the locker room. And I'm not joking. They did. Hey, good game, guys. And one of my kids was a little baby, and just tucked in a blanket like this because we didn't have babysitters and stuff back then. I think one of my kids is still cold from that day.
I saw that you guys put together the scout teams moving forward. Who is playing Trevon Boykin and Dotson for the Ducks right now?
Well, Morgan is our quarterback, and Morgan actually runs pretty well, so and has an arm, so we get a really good look out of him. And right now, Bieber is number 9, you know, because he's tall and he's fast and gives us a great look. The best we can do. And then, you know, who's 25, who's 1, who's 7. Nobody's number 7. What we've been doing with number 7 is lining him about 10 yards off sides and then running him, so our guys get an idea how fast he really is.
You've said in the past that you have a lot of respect for Gary Patterson. Why is that? Just his history on defense?
There's a couple of things. Number one is because of the record and the things in our profession. You go, this guy's always been good. He was good as an assistant, and obviously that led to him getting the job as the head guy, his consistency, and then to be as gracious as he was. I mean, he didn't just let us in. He met with us. He was the head football coach, and we sat in the meetings, and I would kind of be amazed that he would sit there and tell us everything, follow us around, what do you guys want, take us out to eat. He was just so gracious, but he was really good. A lot of guys that are really good at what they do, they don't also have that gracious side. It's like, hey, no, I don't have time for you. And he was completely opposite. You know, I can't say enough good things about him to have that dual side of a guy that's a kind of a big shot in our profession, you know, that is that good a guy.
What does it say about, I guess, his ego as a defensive guy to adapt and go to the high-scoring offense in this Big 12 era where they're all scoring points?
I think it has to do with the guy wants to win and figured out that, you know, if this is what it takes to win, then let's do it. And you know, a year ago, statistically, I think they were still best in their league. This year, it's not as high or not as good as it was a year ago statistically, but still they're able to, you know, hold some teams down, you know, in the insanity of what we're going through right now as defensive coaches. It's been, you know, it's I'm looking for answers. I turn the film on, I don't have any, because no one does it. No one has an answer where you go, let's do this. And we try to copy some things that look good, things that we already know, and but now it's just a matter of we've got to do two. We got what I just told my guys. We got to execute, and then we got to be able to finish. I mean, and that's making tackles, playing all these deep balls. They love to throw the ball deep. They're the best big play team, probably them and Baylor in college football. I'm sure Baylor had some influence on some of Gary's decision to, you know, hey, look, these guys are phenomenal. Let's be like that. So I think that's probably an influence when you see it, and you get a bird's eye view of why you would want to change.
His defenses have been, I think, number 1 5 times since 2000, and even this year they lose 8 guys at one point on defense, and they still win 10 games.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while. How hard is it to kind of keep one step ahead of offenses like that over a career and the longevity of that?
Well, it's been proven that it's really hard for us because we're not where we want to be defensively. So, you know, it's been a tough year that way to really look back at it and feel great about what we've accomplished. But
sure.
What we've accomplished is that we've kept things going. We haven't lost our team, and we've been able to rebound. And I think we're going to play a really good game. So the scary part is, what if you played a really good game and you kept them to their averages? You know, and you go, oh God, is that a good game? Or can you hold a team like this to 200 yards under their average? You gotta kind of think that way. But for us, we just gotta play one play at a time, execute and finish, and we'll see what happens.
Going back to what you said about the visit, was that a one-time thing, or was that
about what now?
Your visit with Gary?
No, a couple of years. We went twice.
Were you at UAB or here?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah. We played him when he was at UAB. When I was at UAB, and he was the defensive coordinator at the time.
Okay.
And that's when I started kind of looking at his stuff, trying to see what were they doing. I think we won though. Yeah, we did win.
So when you found out that you were playing TCU, have you guys had a little trash talk in between you or reached out to each other at all?
Between,
You don't mind.
No. Mike. You said Mike.
Yeah, weren't you just talking about?
Oh, Patterson.
Gary Patterson.
Oh,
Gary.
Gary.
Yeah. No, not Fred. No. We don't. Coaches don't do that. we all have been both really good and really bad, so it's like we have a lot of respect for each other. I'm excited to play him. That's the fun part. Anything else?
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.